The first broadcast of any type of his high school sporting event occurred right here at Elder High School on November 1st of 2003. I was fortunate enough to talk with some of the members of that first team and talked about kind of their vision and they talk about how far it's gotten and how much bigger it's gotten since then. What their ideal was and how it has blossomed now into this big part of what Elder is all about. So I hope you enjoy. This is called The First Broadcast.
We're like, this will probably catch on because, it was a playoff game. This was the year after the first state championship, the year of the second state championship, and so interest was at its highest. And we actually forgot to leave enough bandwidth for people to get to the website. So as soon as like the 50 streams were taken, you couldn't access the website anymore. Like people were like, they couldn't get to anything, and we realized immediately, like at kickoff, everything was taken and everybody. So there was this huge interest of people who couldn't get tickets to the games, or people who were out of town or whatever, that they were able to get their fix of a Friday night in the pit by watching online.
So Kevin Welch and Tom Kennedy, along with there were 6 guys in the class. There's Dominic Aceto, Patrick Cottingham, Andy Fiersick, and Clint Kirsting. And these guys, they decided we wanted to make sure that people could hear Prep Sports Radio's broadcast. And Microsoft had a new broadcasting software that was out there on their Windows NT server. It was a media server. So what we found we could do is get the audio broadcast from a radio, put it into the computer, kick the audio broadcast out through Elder, and we had 800 kilobits that we could play with. We had a frame relay. We were just rocking it with our 800 kilobits, that we could use half of that because half was in, half was out, and we were using some of it for phones and everything. But we set up this media server to get Prep Sports Radio's audio going. And the way we did this, we know Kevin Welch. Kevin Welch was the king of this. He, along with a few others, but he had his Bose Wave radio in his basement with a microphone that went to his laptop. The laptop broadcast it as a publishing point over to our distribution point here at Elder, and then from the distribution point here at Elder, where we had all the bandwidth, we could shoot out all the audio that anyone wanted to, so we had live streaming of audio over the internet. And that was back in 2001. And we had been doing this for a couple years, but we knew that we just couldn't, audio was what you could do. And then Kevin and Tom had the idea, what if we did video? Like, how are we going to get video? We're already doing the audio, and that's taking up so much of our bandwidth. So let's try video. So November 1st came along. We had a playoff game, and we decided to go up into the tower. Tom ran the camera. Kevin was the play-by-play, and from the tower, we just set up a tripod. We ran it to a laptop, and we had that be the publishing point off to the distribution point, which was down in our server room, and we were able to shoot out it ended up being a 75K stream with I believe it had, of that, 21K was audio. So the actual video was about 50 kilobits of data. And when you say, what does that mean? It means that we had a screen that was about 1 inch by 1 inch in size. That was the full size. Now you could take that and blow it up to be an entire TV screen. We're talking a 32-inch TV screen, or even use you could use a projector on your computer to project it to a wall, and with that you could see numbers, you could see the ball, you could see helmets, you could see that a football game was going on, and we dubbed that crap vision.
Two biggest struggles were, one, we never had any budget for this. So it was basically we were using cameras that the school already had. We were, every week, I think there were some leftover AV equipment that was up here in the tower from years prior. And we would have, multiple little dongles connected one to the other, to RCA, to coax, to whatever, to try to get the cameras connected. Obviously, in the early days, there was very little bandwidth that was available, so we were limited on trying to figure out, do we let more people watch at a lower quality, or do we want to keep a high quality and have fewer people watch? And then we actually used to leave I don't know how many 100-foot long cable that would go from the press box to the horseshoe that would be out, so we could run a camera down there, and people would come by and either steal that cable or cut the cable to screw with us. Just people from the neighborhoods. That was always, somebody had to go out and fix it or replace it. But it was mostly, it was literally, like a science experiment week to week of trying to figure out what to do to get things to work. But we got it to work. It was basically, a camera like this that I think somebody kind of got at Best Buy probably. And up here in the tower is my friend Tom, with a tripod. And he was just kind of leaning out, he had the window open, and he was kind of leaning out a little bit, and he would zoom in as much as he could. But when you're this far away, you can't get the best picture. And it was just hooked up. The camera was hooked up to a computer that was then encoding everything and sending it out over the Elder server to the people watching at home. And it was from up here you can't see the scoreboard. I think we figured out a way that you had a radio to tie in the Prep Sports radio audio, so people could kind of hear what was going on, and that way they could hear what the score is or how much time was left. But it's not the best place in the world really to watch a game from.
Crap Vision is what we called it, and we called it Crap Vision for the next couple of years. 2001, 2002, it was Crap Vision, but it worked, and we were able to push it through constantly. Now, we were able to get that, it was 75K, we were able to get that out to 25 live streams. If you dropped off, you were out, and you were back in the waiting list to hope to get back on again. So that's what it was. We got 25 people who could watch this at our peak.
I think it was something we'd kind of just joked about doing, but probably actually doing it probably a day before. It's kind of, we had the camera, we have the server software was set up and made available, and then we figured out, we can take and we can embed. For a long time, Elder was the only school that did it, and so we had that bragging right to say we were the first school that we knew of and anywhere in the country to stream a high school football game in video. In 1996, the Prep Sports Radio Network, they were involved with the first stream of audio of a high school football game for Elder. And so just being on the cutting edge, and I think now what you guys are doing with wireless cameras on the field and all the different stuff, and we've always tried to every year make improvements to make sure that Elder is on the leading edge of what's possible.
We thought it would be cool. We knew that it was a first. We didn't know that we were first anywhere, but we did some research and we realized no one else had ever done this. I found that for sure about 2006. I had a gentleman who, he's the gentleman who owns all NFL, all NBA, and all Major League Baseball video. One guy owns it all. And he invited me down to Florida to his home base. He said, "You guys were the first ever, and I want to know more about this." It wasn't until 2003 when we realized how impactful it could be. This is, to me, and always will be, about the learning. What this job does is allows you to use your talents, to use your capabilities that you may not know you have yet, that you've always thought, man, I could do that. It's your platform to learn a new skill. It has nothing to do with the game. You can have love of sports and not be able to play the sports. But this is an occupation that you can have to the rest of your life. The broadcast is not about the game. The broadcast is about you learning. The broadcast is about developing skills and being a man of Elder because you're sharing those skills with the world. My statement to you, to the students who are doing this, you are serving two purposes. Number one, you're serving yourself. You're learning a career. You're making high school what it can be outside of just standard everyday classes and memorization. It's a skill that gets you scholarships, that gets you a lifetime career, that gives you capabilities. But you're also serving the fans who need you to do this job.
I hope you enjoyed that insight on what it was like to broadcast in 2003. Thank you for tuning in today.